And in the middle of the night, we arrived in the outskirts of Kathmandu, Nepal. And I was all alone. I started walking. Suddenly I heard a howling, "Aoo!" And this dog came running up to me, showing his fangs, barking. And it flung its head up and howled into the night, really loud. And suddenly I heard other dogs howling and barking. And within seconds, I was surrounded by about 6 or 8 mad, hungry dogs. Now, I know most of you are from the West and you don't see dogs like this so much. But when dogs don't have nice masters, they're like wolves. And they all had rabies. I could tell because many of them were foaming at the mouth. And their eyes were just gazing at me with such passion. Barking, barking, barking. Nobody around, all alone. They were closing in on me. Now in these parts, when dogs are hungry, they kill people and eat them. It's not uncommon. And I didn't know what to do. But suddenly I realized I had Ram Sevak Swami's stick. So I took that stick and started swinging it at the dogs. One of them jumped at me, leaped at me, and I just swung and smacked it down. And then it got back up and leaped again. One by one, sometimes 2 at a time, they were leaping at me, and I just kept trying to back off, and there was a line of houses behind me, old, decrepit houses, and I kept that to my back so they couldn't come from behind. And I was battling against these dogs who were trying to eat me. It was very frightening. I remember thinking, I left my comfortable home in Illinois with my wonderful, loving family for this? I came on a search for God. I mean, I risked everything. I gave up everything to find God. And you're supposed to know everything, God. And is this how it's supposed to end? Dog food? But I didn't have too much time to philosophically contemplate. I was fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And as I was becoming totally exhausted, the dogs, smelling my blood, my flesh, and seeing me getting tired, were becoming more and more ferocious and passionate. And I realized I couldn't continue. Should I continue? I was really hoping you'd say that. Thank you. I happened to just look behind me quickly, and I saw that there was a door. Could it be open? I took a swing, knocked one of the dogs down, and turned around as fast as I could, and the door opened. I jumped in and slammed the door shut behind me. And I heard the dogs leaping against the door. I don't know where I was, but that room was pitch dark. But suddenly, a lantern lit, because they just heard the door slam. And I saw just a few feet away from me was a family, all sleeping on the floor. And when the lantern lit and they saw me, something very strange in this little village, they thought I was a burglar. So the husband of the house picked up a sword and charged at me with the sword. And I was ready to run outside, but I heard the dogs jumping on the door. Ruff, 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 ruff. And I fell to my knees and I knew he couldn't understand my language. So he started shouting and pointing to the door. Out! Get out from here! Or I will use the sword. I could understand that much. And I pleaded with him through my eyes for mercy, for kindness. I was totally dependent on whether he wanted to be kind or not. And that's all we had was our gaze into each other's eyes. But somehow or other he understood that if I go outside, I'll be dead. And he put down his sword. And then he said something to his family, and they made up a plate of fruit, and they heated up milk, and gave me a special seat, and treated me like an honored guest. And I slept on the floor with them that night. Around sunrise time, I heard the barking of the dogs gone. But as I was laying there in the darkness with this family, I began to appreciate the words of Ram Sevak Swami. The stick of a sadhu's blessings can protect one from the greatest dangers.